Hey guys, my name is Nora Franche, and welcome to the podcast Grateful Blessed Mess, daily reflections for those in the 12 steps. I am a fellow 12-stepper and certified mindset coach, and I am here to introduce you to the value of mindset coaching in your 12-step journey. So if you feel like you are stuck in the steps, if you're slipping and sliding with your abstinence, mindset coaching may help you as it did me, and you can find me at catholicmindsetcoaching.com. These episodes are meant to invite you in to consider the truths of 12-step wisdom and to join in the very real struggle of living them in action. I hope that it feels almost like a mini meeting, and I invite you to contribute your own share on the Grateful Blessedness Facebook group to keep the discussion going. My comments are based on my own experience, so feel free to take what you like and leave the rest. But my hope is to encourage you on your own daily 12-step journey. As they say, you cannot stay clean on yesterday's shower. So without further ado, let's begin. Hey everybody, we are reading today from Daily Reflections, so buckle up. It's the reading for February 1st. Goal: sanity. Step 2 gently and very gradually began to infiltrate my life. I can't say upon what occasion or upon what day I came to believe in a power greater than myself, but I certainly have that belief now. That's from the AA 12 and 12, page 27. Came to believe. I gave lip service to my belief when I felt like it or when I thought it would look good. I didn't really trust God. I didn't believe He cared for me. I kept trying to change things I couldn't change. Gradually, in disgust, I began to turn it all over, saying, "You're so omnipotent, you take care of it." You did. I began to receive answers to my deepest problems, sometimes at the most unusual times, driving to work, eating lunch, or when I was sound asleep. I realized that I hadn't thought of those solutions. A power greater than myself had given them to me. I came to believe. That's cool. That's really cool. I think that part of the reason why I'm with this guy, I don't notice the changes very much. But when I look back, I know that I'm different now than I was. And I think that we often think they are our ideas. And not to say that like, oh, I can't do anything, but to acknowledge that, like, I've said this before, like any good in me is evidence of God. And it's because it's just, I don't know, that just seems, that's the spiritual kind of hinge point of the program, that this just seems to be how it works. And when I do good things, usually it's because it's like His goodness flowing through me. So I think I've come up with this great idea. Well, if I have the humility to like check myself for a second, perhaps I can see that, oh, that's actually an answer to a prayer. Or perhaps that is just like my being open to the Holy Spirit. There's a virtue word for that. It's docility, but it's basically the same thing as willingness and openness. It's being teachable. That is docility. And to be teachable, you have to be open to be taught, informed. And so this came to believe, this act of trust, that's believing. It's an act of faith, and faith is a form of trust. Just this theme keeps coming up again and again, so you might hear me squawking about that a lot in the coming weeks or so. But I like here how this person isn't rushing the process. He's laughing at himself a little bit in that, like how he started talking to God was really pretty tongue in cheek, or kind of like how a teenager is like, "Oh, if you're so smart, you figure it out." But God's not offended by that, because He's like, He can call it what it is. He knows exactly where we're at. And so I think He sees the good. He's like, "Well, thank God you're finally reaching out. My goodness. I have been waiting." And I think that's the thing. That's like one of the, like, I don't know, unwritten rules of the spiritual life, is that you have to ask, you have to seek, you have to knock, you have to to do something before the good floods your life. And so I have this idea that, our higher power is always seeking us, but he can't cross over like the threshold of our front door until we invite him in. Because like I've said many times, he's a gentleman. He doesn't come in unasked or unannounced. Sometimes we get annoyed because we're like, why didn't you? Hello. Like, I needed you. And he's like, yeah, I know I needed you, but there are rules, people. And he never, he always honors our freedom to ask or not to ask. And sometimes that's hard to understand when we know like the good that would come from him just like storming down the door. But it also helps to know that, to be like, oh, I just have to ask. And I did this yesterday. I was driving in the car. It was turned into a rough day, just personally. And nothing out of the ordinary, just was kind of in a low mood. And I'm driving home and I was just like, okay, like, God, I need you to hear me call my name. And I just have that prayer out there right now. Hasn't been answered yet that I can tell, but maybe it has, and I just didn't notice it yet. And I do believe that prayer will be answered. I want it to be right now. I want it to be yesterday. But that is part of me working my step 2, is when I say a prayer, I can leave it out there and trust that it will be answered. And so I hope you can hold on to that too, that you can choose to continue to pray and can choose trust, choose a posture of trust in expecting a response, but allowing it to be in your higher power's time. With that, I pass. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you feel that mindset coaching could help you on your 12-step journey, please feel free to reach out and find me at catholicmindsetcoaching.com. But more than that, it's important to me to give listeners like yourself a place where you do not need to feel alone on your 12-step journey. And for that reason, I've created a Facebook group. It's called Grateful Blessed Mess. And it's a place where listeners can go to add their own commentary on the share for the day, in addition to my own, and for us just to have a conversation or start a back and forth where people can find support in their 12-step journey. This is not a replacement for 12-step work. This is something outside of the 12 steps. It is simply something that has a heart for the 12 steps and those who are in it. And so, welcome. If you're here, chances are you may also be a bit of a mess. And I hope that you can learn to find some gratitude in the blessings that have come from your messes.